Greetings. This is the Radio Raheem Show, and I'm so happy to be here today to give you guys some truth, give you some very important information. In the studio today, we have the one and only brother entrepreneur extraordinaire from our community here in Bedford Stuyvesant Brooklyn. Entrepreneur Baker from Baker, his business is Apple's Bakery. He's been very, very important in our community. And Brother Idris is going to give you his full name, and he's going to give you some stories, some truth. He's going to drop some really deep truth about the history of African-centered education here in Brooklyn. Baba G2 Wayusi, he's very, very important in the education system here. And so today is the beginning of a series of conversations we're going to be having with Brother Idris. And I will give him the mic right now so he could give us a little update and give us some information, empowering information to wake us up. And how you doing today, brother?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, it's a pleasure. You've been speaking about getting me here for
Yeah.
this podcast for a while.
Yeah, every time I come into the shop and the bakery, it's always a great conversation. So it's you got to start somewhere. We're starting now.
Yeah. We talk about education, of course, African American education. We can't leave out the brother G2 Auc, who's now an ancestor, and I worked for him in 1977 at Eurosasa, and I graduated college, and my oldest son attended preschool there, and I had the chance to work under him, and at the castle, and very influential person, a man with vision, an institution builder, and his story, he had a lot of experience about the public school system before he set up his own alternative system, alternative school for African American children, which is very successful, and those kids who are grown folks now are very successful. They actually help organize the African Arts Festival, which comes up around the 4th of July every year. They're very involved with that. That's another institution.
International African Arts Festival.
Yes, at Commodore Berry Park.
Right. Started on Claver Place.
Right.
And went to Boys and Girls High School. Now it's a huge operation out of Commodore Barry Park.
Yes, and look forward to it coming up.
Institutions.
Yeah, and of course he's instrumental, like you would tell me, for this playing a role in helping you and guiding you to the Paul Robeson Freedom School,
which our studios are located inside the Paul Robeson Freedom School, where we're talking. This is our first podcast today.
Yes.
Well, like I said, one of many. Continue. We're here to drop science, and eventually you'll be able to call in and communicate directly with us as we expand the podcast. But today we're going deep. We're gonna go deep into some of the things that we need to talk about in our community.
Yes. So. I've had this idea. I got this about how we were educated. Now, you say you weren't educated. You didn't start school in New York.
Right.
I started in Brooklyn, in Bushwick, and I've spoken to a lot of folks who started school in the New York City public school system. Right. And I started school in 1958. Little red brick school, PS 56, and they were building 299 right across around the street from 56, and we actually, when 299 was finished, we actually lined up, walked from 56 over to 299, and they tore down 56, and 299 is still there on Woodbine Street, and between Bushwick and Evergreen. But one of the things that just came to my mind is we talking. I saw a video on social media about the over-sexualization of children. It's worse now.
Over-sexualization of children.
Yes, and Now, I came across this information years ago, and I've written stuff about it, which I've never published anything.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's not new for me, this idea that we were sexualized
Mm-hmm.
as kids. Now, first grade, I started first grade. I didn't do kindergarten, but in all the public schools, many of the public schools, do you remember the reader you started out with?
The reader?
Yeah.
Vaguely, I remember the reader. Tell me about it. Let's talk about that.
The reader for us in New York school, public schools, was Dick, Jane, Spot,
Right.
Sally.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. That was the reader. Now, for most of us, 6-year-old, the word Dick wasn't. We didn't know. You still probably don't know nobody named Dick.
No.
Maybe a white guy, but.
Right.
But because Richard is short, they use Dick short for Richard for somehow,
True.
I don't know. But I as a kid had never met nobody named Dick, and Dick for us in the streets was
Yeah.
the male private, a penis.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so in the streets, it was Dick. You knew not to say that around your
You
parents.
better not.
Around the elder, you didn't say that word. So you sitting in school and you learning how to read, and the word Dick, Jane, Spot, Sally. And of course, when the teacher pulls the book out, it says, okay, take out your book, we're going to read about Dick. And you, ooh.
Yeah. Right.
Ooh.
We knew it was a bad word.
Yeah, we knew it was a bad word. So now on the windowsill, for some crazy reason, a lot of the schools had this plant on the windowsill. It's called pussy willows. Okay, so now you're reading about Dick. And on the windowsill, the teacher said, oh, children, you know what kind of plant this is? I said, no, I never seen no damn pussy willows. It's called a pussy willow. Ooh.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So now, in this environment, the classroom, controlled environment,
Mm-hmm.
you got these two together, Dick and pussy. Okay? Now the question is, was that a coincidence? Now, I've asked a lot of...
was that a coincidence?
Was that a coincidence that for some reason, throughout the public school system, Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, you had pussy willows in the class? What's that all about? And you probably never seen a pussy willow in nature at all ever since, unless you go looking for them.
Because I've never heard of that until, good point.
But
yeah.
now this book here, it's called
Show it to the camera.
the Lepzig Connection. Okay, little book. It's not a big book, and I came across this book. I don't know. I've had this book for a while, but it talks about the people who just like G2 started the alternative school faculty.
Right.
These people, John Dewey, so-called fathers of modern education.
Is that the Dewey Decimal System?
Yes.
No, the same. Okay, got it.
Yes. Dewey, and the other man was Thorndike, Edward Thorndike. Now, if you remember in school, we used to have these big, thick dictionaries. They were red. That was the Thorndike dictionary. Okay? And he kind of like set the vocabulary for public school children. But, they rescheduled this educational system for the migrating African Americans coming up from the South, talking about the 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
But the migration started, I think, like toward the 1930s. They called it Great Migration, and it didn't end to the 1970s.
Mm.
So we were constantly migrating, from the South, different parts of the South,
Right.
the Deep South. I mean, here in New York, most of us came from South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Virginia.
Virginia, right.
So that was our migration route, I-95, straight up I-95,
I know we came up South Carolina, Charleston, yeah.
Yeah. That was, the roads were built to accommodate and facilitate this migration, because you go further west, you had a road going from like Mississippi straight up to Chicago.
Mm.
I don't know what number route that is, but that is another route, and that's how a lot of Mississippians and Alabamans wound up in Chicago.
Chicago and Detroit.
And Detroit.
Midwest.
And the blues was big. The blues music was
Yeah.
big, very big in Chicago, but it wasn't really big in New York City.
No, not at all.
Some few old timers were into the blues, but you had to go to Chicago. That's where Muddy Waters and all those cats, were in Chicago. But I found this book, and I learned more about the system of education. And this guy, Edward Thorndike. Now, this is an excerpt. I had to print it up so I can see.
Sure. Now, that's good. That's what we do on the show. Information is power.
So, this is, I get it. It's just my headphone.
No, this is it. Thorndike.
Edward Thorndike.
Thorndike. Never heard of him.
And this book is called Lepzig Connection. And this is from page 32, 33. And the author is Pablo Lionni. Okay. So, Thorndike says,
there's a book.
He says, well, his primary assumption was that was the same as Want. Want is a professor at Leipzig University, that's in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And our system of education came out of Germany. That's where you get the word kindergarten. It's a German word, right? So it's pretty much structured by in Germany.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Want, he said, the man is animal. That his actions are always reactions, primarily reactions, and that he can be studied in the same manner. My vision is really bad. He can be studied in the laboratory in much the same way that animals might be studied. He equated children to the rats, monkeys, fish, and cats, chickens, upon which he experimented in his laboratory, and was prepared. Can I see better with him? Yeah, I see better with him. He was prepared to apply what he learned, what he found there, to learning in the classroom. He extrapolated laws from his research in animal behavior, which he then applied to the training of teachers, who took what they had learned to every corner of the United States, and ran their classrooms, curricula, and schools on the basis of this new educational psychology. Now, what we didn't mention about Thorndike is he ran Columbia Teaching College for over 30 years. So he trained thousands of teachers. To get a teacher's degree, you came to Columbia. Columbia, a teacher's college, is one of the top teacher's colleges in the United States. That's why I say here that many thousands of teachers took what they learned from Thorndike throughout the United States. Okay. In his book, Principles of Teaching Based on Psychology, it was published in 1906, Thorndike proposed making the study of teaching scientific and practical. This is his definition of the art of teaching. Okay, now this way he really gets. It's going to bring what I said about the classroom. Okay. The art of teaching, the art of giving and withholding stimuli with the result of producing or preventing certain responses. In this definition, the term stimulus is used widely for any event which influences a person, for a word spoken to him or pupil, a look, a sentence which he reads, the air he breathes, okay, etc., etc. The term response is used for any reaction made by him, the student, a new thought, a feeling a feeling of interest, a bodily act, any mental or bodily condition resulting from the stimulus. So any mental, physical response to the stimulus. Okay? And it says the aim of the teacher is to produce desirable and prevent undesirable changes in the human being by producing or preventing certain responses. The means at the disposal of the teacher are the stimuli that can be brought up to bear upon the pupil. The teacher's words, the gestures of the teacher, the appearance of the teacher, the condition the condition and appliances of the schoolroom. Okay, the books to be read, and objects to be seen. So that means everything in the classroom is the objects to be seen, the books to be read, the appliances in the room, everything. The classroom is a laboratory. So when you go back to that question, is it just a coincidence that Pussy and Dick were in the same controlled environment? Okay?
This is the beginning of our sexualization.
Listen, I never felt the girls behind before I went to school.
Right.
I mean, that was common. I've seen, women who are our age now would tell you, boys were always feeling their butts. Now they probably lock the kids up for doing that. But back then it was common. You get behind the girls and you reach, and if we're in line, you reach past another guy, feel the girl's butt, and the girl turn around and punch.
Who was that?
Yeah. But it was common. It was always going on. But I never did that before I went to school. I never felt girls behind. And we all know stories of, our class, these schools here had these coat lockers, and the teacher would always conveniently step out of the room, and a guy and a girl be in the locker and, mess around with each other. I mean, it was facilitated. Okay? And I never remember a boy getting in trouble for feeling a girl's butt. You didn't get in trouble. That was just common. Something we always did.
Right.
So I'm saying when you take this information in consideration that the classroom was a laboratory, okay, and nothing was there just by chance. Everything the child sees, the appearances, the way the teacher dresses.
Oh, the stimuli.
The stimuli. And it's gonna create a response. It's going to create a response. So, so as we grow up as African American men, we think, our claim to manhood, that's, how many women we can conquer,
True.
How you used to stand around and tell line about what girl we was with and what we did. And, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when brothers just stand on the corner holding their penis.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, right.
That was
sure.
common. Dudes
You'd
standing
be
around,
cool. You'd be cool. You calling yourself cool.
Yeah, holding yourself. It's like, I think, who was it? Richard Pryor did a joke. Was it Murphy said, "Yeah, you got everything else. You ain't getting this."
Right.
But that was our claim to manhood. It's like, sexuality. How many women we slept with, and how big the penis is.
Right.
That was for us as African American males. That was our claim to manhood. And what's the brother? Neely Fuller. He did the book. Neely Fuller, and he did the 9 activities. The 9 activities of human activities that help humans interact. Now, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she added 10. She added the 10th one. And
Dr. Frances
Cress Welsing, she
right.
did the book ISIS.
ISIS Papers.
Yeah. Right? That very...
She broke that down.
Yeah.
About the
very
flag
good book.
symbol.
Yeah, about the flag symbol,
Yeah.
and the Empire State Building, and what she She talked about King Kong.
Okay.
The movie King Kong came out in 1931, early
Right.
30s, and if you remember the movie King Kong, this the black ape climbing the phallic symbol
Right.
after the white woman.
Right.
You know,
Empire State Building.
Empire
Right.
State Building, and when
I got to see that movie.
when the monkey's on the ground dead after he fell off, the last line of that movie was, "It was beauty that killed the beast," or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, that was like the last line of that movie.
Yeah.
Him pursuing this white woman. But I really believe that King Kong was Paul Robeson. Because at that point, Paul Robeson was in Europe doing Othello, the black king and the white wife, and he was the most famous African American in the world at that point.
Right, no doubt.
Okay,
no
in
doubt,
the late
no
20s.
doubt. Yeah.
And he had a white, the woman that played Desdemona, whatever,
Was a white actress.
was a white actress.
Right,
And he was
yes.
dating her. He had separated for his wife for
I didn't
a
know
while.
that from Esmeralda.
Yeah, yes.
That was his wife.
He was dating this white woman in England. That was
Wow.
going on in England.
Really, I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
That.
So this is the 1920s. So now the Empire State Building was finished 30 something. So it's right around that point that the idea, you know, this nigga over there messing with white women, you know, so they this was the concept of the idea of King Kong. You know, he was King Kong. Paul Robeson's King Kong.
Interesting. Right. Thank
You know,
you.
in my mind,
Well,
you know,
so-
that's the way, you know, when you put the timeline together, you know, Paul Robeson was King Kong. And if you superimpose Paul Robeson, like King Kong face over, you can
Yeah.
kind of like, you know.
Wow, interesting. Didn't know. I didn't even think of it that way.
Yeah, yeah. So Neely Fuller, Fuller Jr., he said the 10 activities are economics, education, entertainment, which would include sports, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and Francis Trust Weldon added health.
Health. Run that down again. Run down. What are the major?
These were the areas of human activity while we
Right.
interact with each other.
Right.
Okay.
Areas of human. Right.
And that would be economics,
Right.
education,
Right.
entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and health.
And health. And what the other one was added? That Dr. Francis?
Health.
Health.
The last one. That was the 10th one.
True.
See now, you know, some people say, well, you know, white kids was reading Dick and Jane too. Now I don't know if they had Pussy Willows in their school, but what Francis Cress Weldon would say is that in all of these areas, we were powerless as a people. We're powerless in economics. We're powerless in education. We're powerless in entertainment. We are the entertainers, but we don't have any real power in it. We're powerless in labor. Law, politics, religion, war, and health. But sex, number 8, sex is the only area that we felt, that was where we felt our power, man. The area of sex.
As a man?
As a man. See, for a white person, they have power in all these areas. For a white child.
Interesting. That's an interesting thing. Huh?
They have power. They
have power in economics. They have power in education. They have power in entertainment.
Politics. They have the power. So sex for them is not it's not the only area of proving I'm a man. You know, when sex is the only thing you got. Like pigeonhole. You pigeonhole. So like you cling to sex to establish the fact that I'm a man, but I can screw a whole bunch of women.
Interesting.
So you know, this is just a thesis that an idea that it has. Like I said, many years ago, I think I did a brief type like a survey with some of the brothers around the mosque and asked them, did you have Pussy Willows in your classroom? And I got a lot of affirmatives.
Yeah.
Some people were educated in Manhattan.
I had them in my classroom.
You had them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you were reading about Dick and Jane.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the standard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, I was glad when I found this information in this book. This is a great little book, and it talks about
Show the book
it talks
again.
about Dewey and Thorndike. They were the architects of the modern public school system to facilitate, like I said, all the African American kids coming up from the South.
Dewey and this guy.
John Dewey and Edward Thorndike.
Edward Thorndike, and most of us don't even haven't heard those names before.
Well, like I said, if you, in the New York City Public School, we had these big, thick red dictionaries. It had Thorndike's name on it. It was the Thorndike Dictionary.
Mm.
Okay, he kind of like controlled. You had different dictionaries for different grades. You know, it wasn't just one dictionary. You had, the primary school dictionary. Then you had the junior high school dictionary. And I don't know if the word entrepreneur was in any of those books.
Probably not.
They controlled our vocabulary and everything. But he hooked up with the Rockefeller Foundation in terms of they controlled education. Education was not supposed to teach us, make us thinkers. It was designed to teach us how to become functionally literate, so we could work in the factories. Not ask too many questions. Just the educational system
wasn't designed for us
to be great
thinkers,
to become really thinkers, problem solvers.
Not at all.
No.
Even till this day.
Exactly. No, we're not. Rockefeller said he don't need problem solving. He don't need thinkers. He just need workers.
So therefore, right. So where do we go with this? I mean, how do we address? Obviously, our schooling, because of elders in the community, like Babaji, Tuwayosi, Uhuru, Sasa School, independent black schools, was created because of, miseducation, and that's going on in our community. So, solutions. What are the solutions that we confronting with these days?
Raheem, at this point, it's like they've made things so difficult to be a parent. I don't know about you, but for me, time is flying. It's like you don't have time to do. Time is moving faster than it's ever moved.
Yeah.
And when you're so preoccupied with trying to put food on the table and pay the bills, and school is like you send your kids off to school. You don't even go up to the school to find out what they're learning.
Yeah, because they don't have time.
Yeah, it's like it made it. That's the you've done something. You've left this city and established yourself in other places where things may be a little slower.
Yeah. But I'm in Detroit. He's talking about, but all around the country we have to have some solutions, like to deal with this. But I moved out to Detroit where the education is the same. It's worse. It's worse. It's worse in Detroit than it is in New York.
Okay.
But we have the same problem around the country, and the solutions that were our ancestors, we talk about, and everybody talks about this. We got to educate our own children, and this is what the part of this program and this discussion is about, to help encourage us to create these independent institutions. And to tie into them, to solve some of these problems.
And at least if you're not prepared to start a school, you have to supplement what they're learning. We don't interact with our children now with social media.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are like this.
Screen ages.
The whole time they're home.
Screen ages. That's what Chuck said.
The parents are not supplementing what they're getting out of schools.
Key supplementation.
Yeah.
Supplementation. A solution. Supplementation, right?
I mean,
a mass movement to supplement.
It's like,
that mass movement to supplicate,
supplement.
Supplement. Keyword.
Like
because even though I started a small school, we worked it during the summer, Paul Robeson Freedom School, and it was created because of the elder Babaji Tuwayosi said that we can do it, which was a model. The freedom schools back in the 60s, elders created this system to supplement the education, but they called them the freedom schools back then. So to what we can do, what Idris is pointing to is we got to immediately start supplementing the education. So that's the solution to it. Definitely to supplement that education.
And even as a Muslim, there are a lot of Muslim kids in public schools here in New York. you know, I worked in the Catholic school as a basketball coach back in the 90s, the end of the 80s.
Not Peter Claver.
No, I worked at Nathrop's High School. A good friend of my college teammate. I was his assistant, Ted Gustus.
Ted
Gustus. Yeah, he's
Gustus.
very popular. He's a very popular coach.
He's still here?
He's still around. He still plays ball. He's
That's great.
70 years old playing ball, but he's very active. And he's doing a lot of what you're doing. He's still very much involved. Some of his players are coaches now, so
Good.
he helps out with that. And but I was his assistant at Nazareth High School for 10 years.
10 years coaching?
Yeah, 10 years. We were
I didn't
there.
know he was coaching.
I mean, yeah.
You were assistant coach of basketball at a
Yeah,
Catholic
well, I was
school?
the head coach of the JV team and his varsity assistant.
Interesting. How did that mix go?
Oh, it was great. I mean, we were very successful.
But your career, you've been
Turned the
always
program
involved with
around.
young people a lot.
Yeah, you
You've
have to
been-
listen, man. When you live as long as we have, pretty
Yeah.
the peers, you don't have a lot of peers.
That's true.
So if you
We're checking out.
if you don't interact with the young people, it's like
Yeah.
they say that.
What are you doing?
That's when you start to get old.
Yeah.
When you lose connection with the
With
young.
youth, right?
Yeah.
That's not our problem.
Yeah, you start to get old.
Yeah.
So you never want to lose connection with the young people.
Yeah, now you
somehow.
definitely,
Well,
yeah.
I
Even
see
at the
it.
masjid,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I know you've been having classes. You've been doing a lot of constructive work with the Muslim brothers over at Taqwa.
Well, on Sundays I teach what we call a new Shahada class. That's people, just since Ramadan, this is the 8th day of Ramadan, and at least 15, 20 people have come in taking Shahada.
Taking Shahada.
Every
Beautiful.
day,
Yeah.
people 2 at a time, 3 at a time, young people.
Yeah, they want to find,
Young
Yeah.
people.
They need that guidance, man.
Well,
The structure.
Islam is equated to light and the darkness. Those terms are used a lot in the Quran. And 256th verse of the 2nd chapter, Baqarah, talks about the truth leading people from the darkness to the light.
Mm.
And it's not darknesses. Darknesses is plural
Mm-hmm.
in the Quran. Leading people from the darknesses to the light.
Mm.
Okay?
So more than one darkness.
Yeah, there's
Right.
many paths to
Right.
darkness. There's
Right.
many paths. I mean, there's somebody on every corner, people calling to different paths of darkness.
Right.
And so, if I light a match right here, and there were 10 people in the room on their phone, they wouldn't turn their head to the light. But if you turn
True.
the light out and you light a match, everyone would. Everyone would be attracted to the light. So we're in very dark times. We're in very dark times.
Yeah.
So the light is shining bright. Like I mentioned before we started, we're talking about the 1 and 2 causes of death amongst young people is really mental illness, man. It's suicide and drug overdose.
Suicide and drug overdose.
Yeah. So that just points out that there's a serious problem with mental health.
Right.
A lot of young people, man, are, usually, you have to live at least 45, 50 years before you start bugging out.
Yeah.
Now kids
true,
are
in
feeling
their
that
20s
stress,
and
man.
yeah.
Their 20s, man, they
And
throw
social
up,
media,
man. Yeah.
being bullied on social media.
Yeah, now that mental health issue is affecting young people, man. And they only been around,
Yeah, for sure.
We
sure.
were always more resilient than that. It took a lot to break us.
Yeah, man, for sure.
It took a lot to break us.
What do you think is causing so much? Let's talk about again, relating to some of the causes, which we talked about earlier.
Well, the celebrity stuff. People
celebrity
following
worship.
Celebrity worship.
Which is let's break down
and
celebrity.
you worship the wrong celebrities.
We're celebrating. Right, so those people that we call, we celebrate,
yes,
may be the ones that keep
that's
us in
what
the darkness.
that celebrity means, right? Those who celebrate, that's where the word comes from, right?
Right.
That's a connection between the two words. Yeah, those people who are celebrated and idolized.
Right.
So when
Should be our mothers and fathers if
Absolutely.
they're doing righteousness. I mean, to a certain level. I mean,
Absolutely, the celebrities the young people are idolizing. The lyrics. You listen to the music that's passing this music. What they're singing about.
you say what you're saying is a mental illness.
Yes.
So we're breaking this down now. We're breaking this
But
down.
it's everything. You know, when we were kids, at 12 o'clock, you got the national anthem, then you got the screen. Woo! TV went off. The
Right.
programming stopped at midnight.
Programming stopped at midnight.
Okay.
Okay.
And then it came back on like 6,
So
7 in the
this
morning.
is a difference now.
Yeah.
This is where we get to
Yeah.
the meat of what's wrong and how
Yes.
how it got to where it is.
The program now is 24/7. 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week. It never stops. With all the social media, you got video games, you got to count that. The computer, the phone, smartphones, the television. Young kids don't even watch television no more.
True.
Because, you know, but it's all on the phone, you know. So the program is nonstop.
Now it's 24 hours.
24 hours, 7 days a week. It's nonstop. And
We didn't come
as,
up like that.
And we as parents ain't got enough sense. You know, again, we too tired, too worn out to tell like, turn that damn phone, get off that phone. Give me that phone.
We won't do that.
Cut that video. You know, yeah, we want to. You know, like China, they talking about TikTok in
So
China.
by taking a phone, we would supplement their education.
Absolutely.
Because they wouldn't be getting 24-hour programs.
Absolutely.
You hear that, parents
Absolutely.
listening out here?
But the Chinese, they have this uproar about TikTok now. They're talking about stopping TikTok. Because TikTok is coming out of China.
Mm-hmm.
But the Chinese have limited their children to 1 or 2 hours a week of video games.
Wonder why.
And they limited. They're making sure that their kids don't get over inundated with this.
True.
With this stuff, man.
There are schools.
And I understand the algorithms that they allow in China is nothing like the TikTok they allow here.
Ooh, wow.
So
Wow.
TikTok in China, the kids are exposed to academic competitions and all kind of stuff, progressive stuff.
Oh,
But
good.
the TikTok that we get
Here
here,
in America.
all kind of I've seen some
again,
nice-
programming.
Yeah, programming. They program.
Again,
That's why they're
programming.
talking about banning TikTok right now in the United States.
Because the data that they get,
Well,
the Chinese can use it
there's a
against
couple
us.
of issues that, because they always know it came out of China, but there's a couple of issues. I understand that Israel is concerned about, because there's some really exposing videos on TikTok about what's going on in Palestine.
yeah.
You know, so they have an issue with TikTok, because some people, a lot of the images coming out of Palestine are coming through TikTok, and they want to shut that down.
Right.
So now TikTok is a problem. So they want to shut TikTok down because of that. Not so much because it's coming out of China. It's always came. It originated in China. You know. So now they're putting forth laws and stuff, or proposing laws to shut down TikTok. But yeah, it's the social media, man, and we facilitate it. You know, this is the beef. We as parents, we say we love our children. They are most prized possession. They're us. We want to make sure, but we go out and spend $100,000 for a smartphone for them.
Because we care about them. We will love them.
Yeah, we love them. We
Yeah.
want them to have. But this is what the experts are saying that this technology is not healthy for young people.
The parents are too busy. You
Yeah,
saying?
they're too busy to
slow down.
monitor. That has taken the place of the television. You know,
So you're
before
saying,
you sit the
so
kids
you're
in front
saying
of the TV.
these devices that program us, our children, are put into our hands, right? And you're saying that we as parents got to take some responsibility.
Absolutely.
And we're not.
You know,
And this cause
video games.
going
video
back
games?
to the suicide thing. Right?
Absolutely. How you shut down a video game? You ever seen them little locks? You know the holes in the plugs for the video game?
Yeah.
You take a little lock, put it in that hole. They
Shut it
can't
down.
plug it in.
Oh, okay.
They can't plug it
That's
in.
a solution.
Yeah, that's one solution.
Y'all listening out there?
But you remember, me and you, last poets.
Yeah.
Now you remember Mean Machine?
Oh yeah.
Sheikh
Oh,
Jalal.
yeah.
One of the
Push button,
verses.
what is it?
Automatic
push button remote control. Genetics command your soul.
That's right.
Yeah.
And one of the lines, he says, high-tech devices sold at high prices, designed with you in mind to buy. But what you don't know is it's killing you slow, and you're paying the machine to die.
Yeah. You gotta pick that up. Thank you for bringing that point up. That was 40 years ago they recorded that.
Well, Jalal was a seer.
Jalal,
He was
rest
a
in
seer.
power. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for
He
sure.
was a seer. He saw things that years, decades before.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, they woke us up a lot. You know, That's why I'll always mention those brothers.
Yeah, me too.
You know,
Yeah.
and I know you.
Yeah, for
probably
sure. Now,
last-
all of our
yeah.
history with Jalal, everybody knows I managed the Last Poets,
Yeah.
the segment of the Last Poets. I recorded like 10 albums, Jalaluddin Mansour Nuruddin and Sheikh Suleiman El Hadi. But they would always call me to reach out to Idris because Idris was there in their corner all the time when they needed something fixed.
Those are my brothers. Huh? Those are my brothers. Huh?
Yeah, when Jalal came to New York from France, he came right over to my house, and then we got it. That was a beautiful time.
And Allah facilitated me, because I lived in the UAE from 2014 to 2018, and I came back Christmas 2016. I landed, and I stayed to the end of January 2017. And during that period, January 2017, my daughter just had a baby in Atlanta, so I flew down for a weekend. And I picked up the phone, and I had his number. I said, "You called me." I called him. He said, "Man, you gotta come see me."
That's good.
That was January 2017. I think he died about a year later.
Yes, he did. Wow.
I used my daughter's car and GPS and found my way to his house. And he lived in a complex, senior citizen complex down there.
I've been there. I was at Jalal Mansour Nuruddin.
Yeah, and we talked about 3 hours.
Mean Machine.
Yeah.
The Mean Machine.
Well, he was
way
in my
ahead.
mind the most prolific of the poets. His poetry was like, he did E Pluribus Unum.
Beyonder.
Yeah. That could be made into a movie.
We still here. It's not too late.
Yeah.
This is the beginning. This is our podcast. We're on video right now, me and you. So, you know what I'm saying? We get the young ones up. We'll get some. So, yeah, but that could be made. That
absolutely
could be made into a movie.
Absolutely.
That's a good thought.
Yeah. He said it took him over 10 years to write that.
It's a good thought. It's a good thought. Now with the technology and the young people that we can. That's a good idea.
Yeah, all the stuff.
And he did put on. He did mention in video, which I do have a video of him mentioning that he was leaving work for us to do. We do. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, I think his son taught it because he was writing a book, and he had it on a computer. I saw some of it.
Tariq
should have that information. Over 4,000 pages, all in rhyme.
Oh yeah. Hustler's Detention. Hustler's Detention. Yeah.
What was Hustler's?
That's the name. That was the title. That was the title.
Wasn't it?
Huh?
Delight, wasn't it?
No, was Hustler's Convention.
Convention, right.
That was but then the sequel to Hustler's Convention, Hustler's Detention.
Okay.
And but yeah, that's how we're having a reference to, some we're talking about solutions to the mental illness and how that's created, how that happened a lot in the young generation. And
to start out with, you got to limit this social media time, man. I mean, it takes discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what happens, like you talk about the black men being in the home. Like, black men represent the discipline. I mean, without the men there present, especially you got boys, but those boys are the ones that's into the video games. So it ain't so much the girls.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? What avenues? Yeah, I agree. That's
discipline, man. We
discipline, right?
Women can't raise men. Men. It ain't hard for a man to raise a man if you ain't right. But for a woman to raise a man, she's too soft with her sons. She's gonna always give them what they want.
Yeah.
You can't give. This whole idea that a child, it's like today. The child writes the contract and make the parents sign. It should be the other way around, man.
It gotta be the other way around.
It should be, you're gonna do this, there's no chores, the idea of doing chores, all that is gone. Kids do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Since when kids know what's better, that you've been, I mean, I ain't saying we shouldn't learn from our children, but there's certain, but when we know this world better than they do, because we've been in it longer than they have.
Yeah.
So if they not prepared to if you allow your child to do what they want to do all the time, you're gonna be messed up.
Yeah, you're gonna. This is what we're facing right now. That's why I think it's important for us to have these podcasts and these programs, these platforms that are able to have a discussion, have these conversations, and correct some of and remember how we came up, greatness.
The benefits.
They've been erased, and we're a lot of our greatness has been erased in terms of like, some of the things that we've been able to accomplish throughout the years and solve some of these problems. So it's important for us to bring back these memories of our greatness and how we could fix some of the things that we forgot that we had, which was like in terms of parent development.
Yes. Well, it's
Parent development, man, it's not going on. And
it's part of social engineering.
social engineering.
Social engineering. At one time the government was involved with that. Now we live in corporate cortocracy.
Good point.
And the corporations are determining social engineering.
Good point.
This is another thing. China shut
Corporations are
down
determining
social engineering.
social engineering.
China shut, they have this, in America we had Amazon. Like when I was in UAE, they had something called Alibaba. It's equivalent to Amazon, but it's China, out of China. This Chinese
Alibaba, yeah.
Alibaba is like
you order
Amazon.
stuff from there, right? Like you're right.
And the owner, he's like Bezos, he became billionaire,
Right.
and he was doing social engineering in China, affecting the youth, leading them certain ways. Chinese government snatched that dude up, man.
Really?
He disappeared for a while.
Really?
He disappeared, man.
Wow,
And when
yeah,
he came back, he was talking the party line, man.
Good.
They re-educated that dude. Say, man, cause you're a billionaire, don't mean you can take out society and our youth the way you want to take them.
Right.
Cause you're a billionaire. See, in America, if you got money, you do what you want. You can, Bezos, these guys, man, they can do what they want. What's the other guy with the electric cars?
Yeah.
Musk.
Elon Musk.
South African, out of South Africa. But that dude he developed a fighter jet. Yo, man, this dude, he got, we grew up watching James Bond.
For sure.
James Bond always went after like eccentric billionaires who wanted to rule the world, like Pinky in the Brain type stuff. And he always shut them down. Like I'm saying, where's James Bond today? Because now the billionaires is running. They're doing all kind of stuff.
You heard of man? Oh man, it's a great reference. To what I'm saying, how to like know how the game is, who's running game.
Yeah.
Social engineering.
Yeah.
So reverse social engineering is what we gotta be about.
So we're sitting here, we're watching our girls, man. The girls are more
I'm concerned
aggressive
about them. Yeah.
They're
all concerned
sexually
about our
aggressive.
women.
The girls is
Of course, we're concerned about our men. I don't want to say that.
Absolutely.
This is both.
No, but there was at some point in the recent past they decided, they developed bring your daughter to work day, not bring your sons, bring your daughter. They decided, that they're gonna.
Very good point. Wow.
It's not too much.
Idris is dropping science.
So they developed the women, the girls. They say the girls were oppressed, and the women, females are always, pushed to the back. So now they're gonna bring them back up to the front. Okay, even with the women's sports, they made it equal to the men's sports and the NCAAs, all kind of stuff. So now you have your situation where all the young girls, they think they can, that's what they're saying. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Right.
That's what they think. As a girl, I can do anything better than you. Yeah, but you gonna stop short of getting in a ring with a Mike Tyson type dude.
Sure,
it's like,
right. Oh my God.
And this whole transsexual thing, they got the guys running against the girls. I mean, you can get people to fall for anything. How you got dudes racing against girls, swimming against girls, and they winning all the medals. And
this engineering is crazy,
it's
man. Yeah, man.
Because that's all social engineering. All that stuff about the sexual, all that stuff is based on social engineering. But all that stuff started. Sometime this guy Ben Stein did a documentary, which you can see on YouTube.
Ben Stein, okay, you guys check that out.
He did it.
It's on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It should be still up there. It's called
Ben Stein. What's the title of the video?
No, Ben Stein is it's a documentary.
Okay, he's an author or a director?
He's a Jewish comedian. He does comedic type stuff.
Okay, I've heard that name. Okay, that's not
you've seen
comedian.
Ben Stein.
Okay.
You see a picture of him. You see him, and his documentary is called "Expelled: No Intelligence Allowed." Expelled, no intelligence is allowed. And what he does, he goes to the different universities. Now this was done in like early 20s, no, 20 something, 20. But he goes to the different universities, and what they were doing is they were expelling professors on the from colleges that were teaching intelligent design as opposed to evolution. So they actually kicking professors out of colleges. Okay, and he was going around to different colleges to find out what's going on. Like, you can't teach intelligent design. You can't even lecture about it. Only thing acceptable for the explanation of creation is evolution. That's in all the state colleges, what they call it, secular colleges. They were putting it out, So they shutting it down. So because you have a lot of scientists, physicists who believe that this when they look at creation, they say there's got to be some intelligent design. They ain't saying God, they're saying based on what they see, the evidence.
Right. Something beyond.
This ain't just come out of a big bang.
Right.
This ain't just random. I mean, like our bodies. I was thinking about our bodies. Our bodies are amazing factory. They produce chemicals. Our bodies produce chemicals, physical materials, skin, hair, nails, chemicals, electricity.
How fast do you know how fast blood flows through our body?
Yo, man.
Like faster than the speed of sound.
Yes. Yes. The body is amazing. It's a factory. It's a powerhouse.
So we're sitting here and blood is flowing through us faster than the sound.
But that's just one thing, the blood. But I'm telling you, it's producing all kinds of chemicals, hormones. It's producing. See, this is why it's important to feed yourself the stuff. It's like the bakery. If I can't get eggs and butter, I can't make nothing. If they shut down my supply line. So what about the body that's producing all these different materials? If your body don't have what it needs to produce what your body needs, first thing it's going to do is going to absorb, take the nutrients from other places, and that's going to cause illness. So if you don't give your body what it needs as a manufacturing plant, it's going to cause problems.
Right, exactly. That's what we have.
And one of the main things that we don't give our body enough of is water.
Right.
Dehydration is listen. The kidneys use 2.5 liters of water every day to do what it needs to do. So water, good pure water, not coffee, not juice.
People die from dehydration.
Yes,
this is true.
At our age, dehydration is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, good.
We need to be drinking. They say half your weight in water in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should be drinking 100 ounces of water a day in order for your body to do what it needs to do and function properly.
Yeah.
So
that's good information.
Yes. I have to give some health information because the bakery, everybody.
Yeah.
Counteract.
For true. That's why I wanted to get you in here. We got to talk about some of the things that we need to talk about for our community, and to wake up brothers and sisters who were not aware of some of the truth. Let's recap and go over again from the top. Again, the author of the book. Let's talk. We're going to wrap up, but the purpose of this podcast is to share information about the education system, how it began. And Idris has been very.
Well, again, this book,
go ahead.
The Lepzig Connection by.
Show it to us. You can put it up on the screen.
Pablo Lionni. It's been out a while. I've had this book for a while. Small book. A lot of great information in it about the educational system, the curricula, how it was developed. Animal psychologist Edward Thorndike. He developed his theory of teaching and learning from studying animals.
Say that again. Say that again. I mean, I know you.
Rats, cats. What else they say? Fish. He had a laboratory. He had all these animals, and he developed his theory of education, educational psychology. Because that's when psychology came into education. Before he developed this theory, this program, they didn't use wasn't psychology. You dealt with the kids, but now they got this. He developed this this plan of how to manipulate.
I see.
And he got it from watching animals.
I see that.
And
Interesting.
see, that's why the humanistic, very popular humanistic method of teaching is the Montessori program. You've heard Montessori. That's based on humanistic as opposed to animalistic.
It's really?
Yeah.
That's why a lot of my principals send their children to those schools.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's based on teaching humans, not
Right.
animals.
Oh.
It's humanistic.
Because in the Montessori schools, one of my G2's son is a principal, but his children go to Montessori.
Okay.
They don't allow them to have the cell phones.
Right.
Among others, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the regular public school system is based on animals. The animals
Get out!
That's what it said. The want.
Get
Yeah. It's based on teaching animals.
5 minutes, yeah.
Based on teaching animals. Montessori is one of the humanistic programs of teaching, of learning. I guess there's others out there too, but Montessori is probably the most popular.
Montessori.
Yeah.
So our education system here in America, the foundation of it,
It's animalistic.
let's get into that. I mean, we only got a few minutes left, but we'll be back with another episode of this show. But talk about that.
Well, yeah, it's that's the first thing I read.
Yeah,
First
yeah,
thing
I know.
The guy Wundt is Wundt is his name. He's one of the professors at Lepzig University. Thorndike actually took off on his. He was a student of Wundt.
Okay,
And,
so Thorndike, which is
they all studied in Lepzig. That's where
they study under Lipstick.
At the University of Lepzig.
Okay, where's the university in Germany?
In Germany. Wundt is one of the professors out of Lepzig.
Okay.
And he came up, so Thorndike just furthered his research and came up with this system of education. And he introduced the concept of educational psychology.
Was that introduced at Columbia University?
Well, that's what they taught. That's his system. Thorndike was one of the leaders of the Columbia Teacher School for 3 decades.
Okay. Wow. So, his research was on animals?
He was an animal researcher. That's what he came up with his.
This is not.
Yeah.
This is not widely known. This is so good that you're here. This is
He
very.
did his research with animals, and he applied it to children, because he said humans are animals, and our actions are mostly reactions. And stimuli. Given the right stimuli, they're gonna react. Respond to the stimuli you give them. And that's where the idea with back to why they got dick and pussy in the classroom. Why are we talking about, why are we using those words in this controlled environment? It's not a coincidence. It's done by design. So yeah, we it's a puzzle, and we need to try to figure it out.
There we are. That's what we are in this room about. Trying to figure it out.
That's when you talk about the elders. As elders, you would figure we figured some stuff out. It takes almost a lifetime to figure some of this stuff out, and the more you learn, the more you know you don't know.
Yeah, true that. This is true. This is definitely true.
And I say, I tell people I'm not no more intelligent than anybody else. I tell you one thing I got good from my teachers. Old teachers, pay attention, because I didn't like paying attention. But I say I'm not more smart than nobody. But what I've learned to do, I pay attention to stuff. I see stuff that people don't see. Because I just paying attention.
That's why I wanted to, because we had all these conversations at the bakery.
Yeah.
I said we got to come in here.
Just like I tell you, the police car. You know the Israeli flag.
Yeah.
It look like white with the 2 blue lines and Star David. Well, you see it all the time. The police cars roll by. It's the same exact design. It's white, 2 blue lines. The only thing you got NYPD in front of it instead of Star David. And you think that's a coincidence?
Yeah. We talking about social engineering again.
Yeah.
Idris, man, wow, time is flying.
Yeah.
We're gonna be continuing to do these podcasts and bring in some guests and have have you guys call in and share information. And we appreciate everybody who tuned in and shared this podcast. And if you want some good high quality baked goods, Abu's Bakery, ABU Bakery, Brooklyn, New York, Fulton Street. Any closing words, Brother Abu? Brother Idris.
Yes. just thank the Lord for we're in Ramadan now, so I'm fasting and just to say that I hope people get benefit from what I said, and if I said anything wrong, it's from me, I hope people goodwill, good health, and, stay out of trouble. This summer's going to be rough out here.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's a wrap.